Hello, and thank you for joining our Stream of Conscious ADHD podcast. I'm Heidi Fawcett, along with my sister Heather. We are Gen X in menopause and, surprise, newly diagnosed with ADHD. Since we found out about our ADHD during the pandemic, we have spent most weekends sitting in my backyard in Brooklyn with our champagne brunch discussing the impact, the reflections, the grief, the stories. Many adults are now finding they were never diagnosed, so we thought we would bring everyone into our backyard discovery sessions, hoping it will help. We laugh, we cry, we are stream of consciousness conversationalists. We hope you enjoy listening to our discovery and perhaps glean some comfort from it. Here we go, into the backyard.
So this one thing has a huge overarching, and we may run out of time. I have no idea what it is. I know. Well, it's boundaries, and that parent summit that was this week. One of the things that they talked about was how it's very difficult to have boundaries. I think you may not have as much of a problem because you're not a people pleaser. I'm a people pleaser. I'm also a people pleaser. Are you? Yeah. Oh, you were, because I remember you saying, with Mom and Dave, you were a people pleaser and blah, blah, blah.
Then I wasn't as much, but as part of the masking to fit in, you have to become a people pleaser. And I do this at work more often than anything.
Yeah.
I do it with you.
You? Oh, because you're afraid to hurt my feelings?
Just because I just want you to have what you want.
But that's fine, of course.
But it's funny because at work, I am more of a people pleaser than I am outside of work. Just because I'm interested in the mission and everything to be successful, you take on more than you should.
Oh, okay. So those are two different things, though, because doing something for a mission is not people pleasing.
But I should be saying no because there are other resources that could do the thing. But I use them because I don't want them to be angry with me and then fire me. It's all about it fits in with the imposter syndrome and all this stuff.
It's like an imposter syndrome. There are so many things, and I said this not tonight, but I would love to know what it feels like to not have some of these things. What does it feel like to not have imposter syndrome? What does it feel like not to have what is the rejection?
Oh, rejection sensitivity dysphoria.
Yes.
Yes.
What is it like to not lose focus and have issues reading and all the things? This is part of my grief that I'm going through because I get mad about people that, like tonight, the couple, you asked me about it and I don't even think I answered you, but the parents were very sweet. They're just the cutest little couple, and the little girl was there, and I'm talking to her. She's in the second bedroom where there's all the built-ins, and she's opening the doors. I'm like, oh, do you have little ponies or unicorns or dinosaurs that are going to live in here? And she's like, oh, good idea. I was talking to the dad about the extra paint in case stuff's happen, whatever. And I'm just looking at them. I'm like, what a perfect little family. And I'm thinking to myself, do either of them have neurodiversities? Do they struggle?
Well, I'm sure that there is some point at which people would look at you and Lee and think, what a funny little couple they are. They're just perfect. But nothing is ever perfect as it seems on the outside.
Oh, 100%. Even the couples that they're interviewing who have been together for 60 years and what have you, and their whole thing is that they always are able to joke and be playful with each other. And I firmly believe in that. But people who have ADHD, that you are totally capable of being. I've always been playful with my people. Like Dave Russell, all the people. Oh, see, I've never been a playful person.
See, I was always super playful with everybody, and people were like, "Oh gosh, you guys are so cute." And in fact, we were cute, but that doesn't mean it was going to work out.
So was it only with romantic relationships? Because you were not, until we were at slaying, you were never playful with me.
That's interesting. I guess I never felt 100% comfortable.
Being playful with me?
Who?
You think because of our childhood?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it more.
Because I know there were times when that was the other thing with the woman that you watched the video.
Oh yeah.
And this was the thing that made me go, I am texting Heather this thing right now. She's like, you look back on when you were younger and this was happening and that was happening, and whether you realize it was trauma or not, blah, blah, blah. And then she said, I just felt like I did not understand my own construct because my parents were always saying, why are you so sensitive? Stop being so sensitive. And she was like, I'm filtering things through my amygdala. How am I not supposed to be sensitive?
Mm-hmm.
And when she said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, because I remember vividly the whole, Heather, we have to walk on eggshells with you. That spilled over to me after they passed. I was like, if this is something that is sensitive to Heather, I'm going to set her off, or she's just going to say, yeah, that's not for me, which is you setting boundaries. Whether it's the sensitivity or not, you were able to set boundaries. And I, obviously, you have seen my entire life and how my boundaries have just been like, boop, boop, boop. I don't even think I'd put up boundaries. I never set standards for anyone except for, ironically, Chad. I said to him, we're not doing this anymore if you are still girlfriend, whatever. You said you weren't seeing this girl, and obviously you are, so I'm out. It was the first time I stood up and for myself, even though it was the most annihilated I've ever been in any relationship ever. But I just am not good at setting boundaries. I'm like, yeah, walk all over me. I don't care.
Well, there's not setting boundaries. And then there's setting boundaries, but letting people like cross them over and over again.
And do you do that?
Which I was at.
Oh, I don't even set well, didn't prior. Because I just think it was that people pleasing thing that I just, if you go through your entire life people pleasing and wanting people to like you, you just roll over. You're not setting boundaries. But I think that there was a certain point, and maybe it was,
Where are they coming from? Look at this.
oh, he's a baby too.
And his little antlers or whatever those are called, the antennae, are just like, wait a second.
Then that's not a slug. That is a snail. Slugs don't have antennae, right?
They might, but
Really?
you can't tuck them in.
See, I think, well, I really feel like I remember the slugs from when we were kids and they were,
Well, see, it's nighttime and they can put,
I think this,
I think
I
the
don't-
slugs have antennae.
can you Google it?
Whatever
Because
that
I feel like these are
Just like,
snails.
she's booking. All right, Frosty's going.
And mine is just going in circles.
Oh my God. This is.
Oh, he's already made it across that little.
Yeah, look at him. He started here. He's like in the past 30 seconds. His little antennas are like.
Is he upset?
No. He's just. This is what they do. at
Well,
night. And it looks like the back half of his body is like translucent,
Why?
which is very cool.
Or creepy, depending on how you look at it.
Does it? I feel like the front half of his body is this slug colored, but the back half of his body is clear.
All right. Well, I need to look at this without stepping on anyone else.
Translucent. You see what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Maybe we'll see him digesting something.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So cool.
By the way, this candle kicks.
Yes, it does. And it's not citronella smelling like they used to be, like the most potent. It was just like chemicals going up my nose.
All I know is I got this at Lowe's, and I'm gonna go get like a bunch at the end of season. Hopefully they're on discount.
Oh, yeah, they will be. And it's like a cheerful thing. Cheerful meaning,
A pleasant fragrance.
or just, I love candles. That's all I meant. But I don't like the smell of like old school citronella. And then I have a really bad memory because we had citronella candles lining the pool back in Vienna. And somebody was doing something with the ball that made Jack frantic. And he ran right into one of them. And the hot wax went all over him.
Oh, he has fur. So
And,
that's so cool.
but I was just thinking about the areas that didn't have fur.
I don't know.
Even though I know whose fur would protect them in some places, but you never know. And so I just ran over and scooped him up and threw him in the pool. I think they even jumped in the pool with him. But so he's traumatized by being burned. And mom throws me in. What the hell? And then mom and dad won't let me clean myself because he was trying, and it was toxic. And we didn't have any of those Elizabethan collar things. So I don't even know how we kept him from doing any grooming until we called the vet to say, how the heck do we get this off of him?
I would have hit him with the hairdryer and then put like a towel on him. So it would make the wax soft, and then the towel would
Wax
absorb
soft?
it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
No, I should ask Lee because I don't even actually remember what the vet told us to do. And I don't remember doing anything.
I saw
So
those
he-
pictures that Alex posted the other day of all the animal. He's like, clearly I like animals. And she posted all these pictures of all the art in her house that are of animals. And one of them was Jack's portrait.
Oh, she did Jack's portrait?
I don't have my phone. Go to her Facebook page. You'll see it.
Because, she's been doing art. Okay. So, all right, one of these days, we're going to start doing interviews with other ADHDers who are in our generation.
Yeah.
Rachel, there's so many people, but I feel like Alex should be first. And I even asked her when I saw her, I'm like, would you be willing to come on the podcast just to talk about your stuff? Because I know I have a lot. I know you have a lot. And I know a lot of her stuff is different. And some of Grace's stuff is different.
Mm-hmm.
But she seems to have all of what all three of us have.
I don't know if I mentioned to you that where I work, we have a neurodivergence colleague resource group. And, they post things, and they have people will come and do seminars. We'll have WebEx meetings in which somebody will present something around neurodivergence.
Yeah.
And last week, somebody presented about their experience with ADHD, and the chat was open and people were asking questions after the speaker finished. And I noticed there was a lot of women who were commenting about their own personal experience. I imagine some people were there because their children are ADHD, and some people were there because they are. I was commenting about a couple of things, and I just made a comment. I'm like, are there any late diagnosed women in this chat? And then all these people were like, yes. And I said, oh gosh, there's several people here. Maybe we should get together. And they're like, oh yes, let's do that. And of course, somehow I'm now responsible for that. So I had like 50 people. Wow. And that happened to be in this meeting say, oh yes, I am one. They're all raising their hands.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh my heavens. And now I felt like I bit off more than I could chew, because I thought maybe 5 people we get together. I was like thinking we'd have a Teams meeting and we would talk about our experience. But it was 50 people. And I said, oh gosh, this is a lot of people. I'll have them set up our own team within Teams, and it'll be private so we can just talk amongst ourselves.
Yes.
People are coming out of the woodwork, add me. And I'm like, oh my heavens, I did not think that this was something I would be doing.
But now I'm the queen of the late diagnosis. It's right. No. Hey. And this is something that Marjorie, our ADHD therapist, said to me when I talked to her about what we were doing with the podcast. She was like, you have no idea how much this would, like, more than half my patients would love this because they're all in that same boat. And I was like, really? And I guess because of the pandemic, how much maybe we all were able to see our own neuroses or our own whatever was happening. But feel like it's that many people just in your work group. And I see ADHD groups all over the place, but I don't know that they ever just specify if you were diagnosed after the age of 50, this is our group. We should do that.
Well, I phrased it, women who were late diagnosed with ADHD or ADHD and self-diagnosis is valid because, and all these people, and it was just this one call, which was a very small amount of the people that I work with who happened to be members of the neurodivergent colleague resource group. But all the women on the call were like, yeah, that's me. And I was just shocked because I thought it would be like 5 people and it would be easy to manage. And they're like, we need you to organize this thing. And I'm like, I don't, no, I don't.
Appoint somebody to help you organize.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, pick
I already
someone
have
who
one.
is. I already have one. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've recruited because there was a couple of people who reached out to me directly and said, hey, oh my gosh, can I talk to you? And I'm like, first of all, I'm not an expert in any of this. I just happened to ask a question. What? I recruited them to help me.
And you should, because that's a lot.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing about what Marjorie said about what we were doing. And even you mentioned how a lot of the medical professionals are not really up to date on what's going on. They're not really focusing on certain segments of the population, like women over X, and how that affects. No, I lost my train of thoughts.
I imagine she was, the demographic for an ADHD diagnosis is a young boy because their symptoms are externalized as opposed to women, girls who have generally more internalized, although it's not true all the time.
Oh.
There's this huge population of people who were ADHD, but they didn't get diagnosed, and then suddenly more information is available, and it's mostly through social media and where everybody's sharing their experiences, and it makes sense. It resonates with people. They're like, oh, geez.
Right.
And then you get caught up in the algorithm and you get more and more information about it. And the medical doctors are clueless.
Our reason for this podcast is to support and uplift women in recognizing the impact undiagnosed ADHD has on their lives and to know that they're not alone. Discovery and grieving for what life could have been if we had only known and had help can be hard sometimes. If you have any thoughts you would like to share, you can email us at genx.adhd.sisters@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. #GenX ADHD Sisters.